The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fabulous edition of Mattalk. Today, we get crazy. When John sent me the text of what we had to watch today, I didn't believe him at first. I was like, wait a second. I guess I didn't question it because I'm a big fan of this franchise. He told me we were watching Black Widow. So what did I do? I mean, Scarlett Johansson, no offense to Andy Griffith. She is kind of, at least on the eyes, an upgrade. And I had a blast watching this. You know, it was good times. Good times.
Jason,
was fantastic, John. I can't believe you wanted to watch an MCU movie during Mattalk.
Jason,
What?
you watched the wrong thing.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Black Widow. The episode was called The Black Widow. That's what you said.
Right.
They can't see the video in my hand, obviously, because this is audio only. But I'm holding the Black Widow.
Right, and that's the wrong Black Widow.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you know what? We have somebody that'll help you out, man. We have somebody that's going to be able to help you out and fill in all the blanks. Joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? Hold on. John,
What?
That's a lame introduction for our guest. First off, I want to say that it's awesome that we have somebody coming on that we didn't really know prior to the Mattalk group. Like, we've had a guest on before, but it's somebody we've known, and I do a podcast with him regularly, but this is the first time we've brought somebody in from the group, and I want to say that I think we chose the right person to start with.
I agree wholeheartedly. Go ahead and introduce him, Jason.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's Gino Cuddy. Thank you so much, Gino. I am so glad that you could join us today.
Thank you very much, both of you. It's great to be here. I've been a long-time listener and a first-time guest.
Well, thanks again for joining us, and I hope you're ready to get wild and to just talk about this. What is a very interesting episode of Mattalk.
Yeah, I did not see Florence Pugh in this episode coming at all.
There's no you're talking about the other Black Widow.
Oh, so it's Pugh. I've always been under the impression it was Pug.
That's a good question, John. Fact check it.
Fact check it. I'll fact check it. Hold on here.
Care. They're here to talk about the Andy Griffith episode, which I did watch the right episode. I can't wait to get in this episode because this trial should never have been a thing. I'm going to save it. We'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into it, John.
Okay, well, wait. I have an answer. It is Pugh. That is, according to Google, it is Pugh.
Nice. I got two radio voices on here with me. I seem so inadequate.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump on into this, and then at the end, after we wrap up, we'll do something a little bit different. Gino will talk to you about your fandom, if that works.
Absolutely. Sounds fantastic. And Jason, you remarked that you have two radio voices. Well, it should be noted that for 3 years, and hopefully this will be resuming soon, now that COVID-19 has died down substantially. I actually hosted and produced my own television program for about 3 years.
Cool. What was the name of the project?
It was Gino in the Evening. It was cable access, but I think it was of substantial good quality, and it ran here locally. I'm based out of Middletown, Connecticut, so it ran out of here in Middletown. But I did upload some episodes on YouTube. There's one episode on YouTube right now, which it will be interesting to anybody who follows YouTube at all. I interviewed my longtime friend and YouTube personality, Mr. Ben Minot of the Oddity Archive.
Okay, cool. Well, all right. Let's we'll get some plugs in there, Gino, for that. Like I said, after we do our rundown, our discussion and review. So, Jason,
do you have another guest coming?
Yeah, who was that?
That was my dog Riley.
Is she a fan of Mattalk?
She is. She watched the first episode today.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Gino, what you don't know is there might be a cat that makes a guest appearance as well. Peanut likes to sometimes just show up randomly as well, usually on Jason's shoulder or on the back of the couch, one of the two. So, all right, let's go ahead then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump on into our opening statements. All right, The Black Widow is the name of the episode that we'll be looking at, and the original air date was February 14th, 1989.
Good
Gentlemen,
episode for Valentine's Day.
I didn't even make the connection that this is a very odd episode for Valentine's Day.
And may I note something else that came across my desk? We are actually recording this on the 36th anniversary of the debut of Mattalk.
Yes, that's right. September 23rd. I did remember that. I didn't know it was that long ago, though. But yeah, we're making all the connections, ladies and gentlemen. We're making all of the connections. Well, we have a few guest stars to talk about. A lot of the guest stars in the cast, as I researched them, had kind of one and dones where they would appear on one episode of this show or one episode of that show. But there were four that I think that we can highlight a little bit and talk about some of them and their large credit list, if you will. We'll start with the first one, which is Jeff Allen. He will be playing one of the major roles of Ken Wilson, the protagonist of our episode. And you may also know him as Lieutenant Fox in the movie The Adventures of Reno Williams. You might also know him as Chad in the Jim Belushi comedy Canine. Lieutenant Burke on the soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful. And he spent many episodes on St. Elsewhere as Alex Corey. So, gentlemen, does that name ring a bell or any of those projects ring a bell?
Bold and the Beautiful certainly does as a fan of daytime television.
Okay.
I need to watch St. Elsewhere, but my favorite Jim Belushi movie is Mr. Destiny.
You know what? I don't think I've watched anything with Jim Belushi in it, to be bluntly honest with you.
It's got one of my favorite people in the world, John Lovitz, in it. That's why I love it so much.
Oh, well, okay. You can't
Jim
go wrong.
Belushi, he was the According to Jim fella, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
He was Belushi light.
Yeah, and I've seen like an episode or two of According to Jim, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't know. Just one of those actors that have never come across his work and gone, oh yeah, that was really amazing. But yes, a lot of St. Elsewhere crossovers these last few episodes on Mattalk. So again, Jason, I know you got a hankering to sit down and watch that TV show.
Yes.
All right, well, let's talk about our next individual. Our next guest star is Kenneth Kimmins. He will play the role of Bob King, and you may know him from actually this. I remember this show, and I remember watching it, but I can't remember this character for the save my life. Howard Burley on Coach. So Kenneth Kimmins was on Coach. I watched a lot of Coach. I never remember this character of Howard. I don't know.
Was he just a one-off or was he a regular?
No, he was like a regular. However, he also played Dr. Klein on Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. And he also played Thornton McClish on Dallas. And I have to throw this out there because, Gino, I like to throw out movies and TV shows that I really dig and I think people should check out. He had a very, very small role as an assistant producer on the movie Network, which I'm a huge fan of Network.
Network is a fantastic film. That's the film where the newscasters, that famous film where the newscaster is talking to his audience and saying that I want you to get mad. I'm a human being, God. That film. Yeah. I actually used that as part of my intro once on my television program, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film just from the aspect of not only the way it's written and it's acted, all that great, but to me, I watched it, I'm like, this is 1975, and so much of what they talk about in this film is happening now. Like the concept of reality TV, the concept of news spin, which I'm sure was around in the 70s, but just for me and my my
It was a lot
headspace-
less rampant then.
Yes, thank you. Yes, absolutely. It was a lot less rampant, and just for those producers and those writers to come up with something like that, it just blew me away.
Yes, Howard was the athletic director.
Was he?
Yes, he's the one that always gave Coach a hard time, Hayden a hard time.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I remember that. He's probably it's got to be that he looks different or something. Maybe because obviously Coach is a few years later. I just never picked up on that on Bob King, or excuse me, on Kimmons being Howard. I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and watch.
Arrested Development and Curb Your Enthusiasm. This guy's done some stuff. 8 Simple Rules.
Mm-hmm.
Ally McBeal.
Well, you think he's done some stuff? You wait till our next guest star, Jason,
You guys
because
are on a pizza place, one of the most underrated shows on television. Everybody should check it out. Ryan Reynolds.
you're a big fan of that show.
I am. I have it on DVD.
How many seasons did that run?
4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
ABC, correct?
Yeah, it was ABC's chance of trying to capture Friends.
What program is this? I'm sorry.
2 guys that grow on a pizza place with Ryan
Oh, okay.
and Trailer Howard, and Nathan Fillion is in it as well.
Now you said ABC. Now this wasn't a TGIF show, was it?
No, I think it aired Thursday. No, I think it literally aired against Friends.
Oh, okay.
Which that was not a good idea, I suppose.
No.
No. All right, Jason, are you ready for this? I know how excited you're going to be when I tell you about our next guest star. Christoph Tabori is going to play Steve Davidson, and you may know him as Dr. Carson on Chicago Story. He was also War Master Kim in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And Jason, if you look this guy up, you're going to see he's got Disney money because he has a bunch of voiceovers for Star Wars video games and other animated projects. Our man Chris is rolling in that Disney money, is he not?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm looking at his IMDb right now.
Oh, yeah. He's got like 1 trillion credits for Star Wars.
Nice. And this actually allows me to talk about something that is not Mattalk related at all. He was also in Quantum Leap.
The original.
Which they are now remaking.
Right.
Yes. Which I liked, by the
Did
way.
you?
I thought the new Quantum Leap was great.
Okay, cool.
And I think Scott Bakula is playing the fans. I think that he's going to make a cameo because the show is very focused on a mystery dealing with him and Al.
Really? They're tying that in.
Yeah, Al's
That's cool.
daughter is a character in the show.
Oh, is she takes the place of Al?
No. Well, kind of. She helps the guy jump. He jumps for a reason that he can't remember. Same premise as the original show. You know, Sam couldn't remember why he jumped. But I like it so far. I think it's a fun show. It reminds me so much of the original. The only big difference is there's more time spent in the future than there was in the old show. But so far, the first episode was solid.
Okay.
I want to continue because I want to see how this plays out.
I mean, I want to watch it, but it's just another thing to add to the list that I will have to binge.
Bring
later.
Sam Beckett home.
Can I ask real quick? Is the protagonist he's got no relation to Sam Beckett, correct?
No, but obviously somehow he's friends with his daughter.
Okay.
Al's daughter.
Okay, gotcha. All right, our last guest star is Barbara Winery, who will play Arlene. She actually this is her second go-round on Matlock. She played Anna Moore in The Lovelorn, which, Jason, I think that was season 2. It was the advice column episode where the woman had written the advice column and then got murdered because she had maybe had broken up a marriage and whatnot. She also, though, played Dr. Martin on St. Elsewhere and Sister Mary Margaret on Sunset Beach. And, Jason, one of your favorite shows, she also played Maggie on 2 episodes of Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
You know what? Freaking Jonathan Frakes just shared a cryptic text, and it looks like the set of Beyond Belief is behind him. I swear to God, if that show comes back, I am going to scream. And I'm quitting Mattalk. I'm going to start Beyond Belief Talk. You guys heard it here, folks, first. I can't wait. I love that show. I love the acting and the segments. It's all great.
Sorry, Gino. That's one of his favorites. I mean,
No problem. Well, one of my favorite stars appears in this episode.
Okay.
And he has been a recurring character on Matlock. He is none other than the late great Don Knotts playing Les Calhoun in this episode, which I was so happy that I got to review an episode with Don Knotts, because when I was a child and when I used to watch Matlock as a child, I used to get so excited when I would see Don Knotts' name in the cast, because it just meant more of that great Andy Griffith, Don Knotts chemistry from the Andy Griffith Show, which I am surprised to hear that, from my recollection, neither one of you have actually yet to see an episode of that program.
I've actually watched a few episodes of the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. I don't know what season they were from or whatnot, but I've watched a few here and there. Jason, I know you've never watched one ever, correct?
No, but it's definitely on my list to do.
Yeah.
I could recommend some episodes to you if you would like.
I gotta say, Les Calhoun, his character is a lot better in this episode and in the previous one. The first time he was on the show, I was not a fan, but he's definitely, they fit the role, they figured it out, and yeah, no, this episode and appearance of Don Knotts was fantastic. The best one so far, in my opinion.
Now, I mean, I will remark that given that Matlock is predominantly a dramatic program, that sometimes the comedic relief with Don Knotts' character doesn't always mix well, but it is always, in my opinion, a delight to see him.
This episode did it perfect. The comedy was perfect for the scene that he was in. Yeah, I loved it. Again?
All right. With that, then, gentlemen, are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion, and only your opinion, so help you?
I do.
Gino?
Absolutely.
Then it's time to testify. The plot of this episode is that after serving 7 years for killing his wife, Ken Wilson is free only to find out his wife is still alive, or at least for the moment. Opening scene is a really odd one. In fact, I wrote down it's got a very spooky tone that I didn't expect, because it's kind of like, this is a picture of a Black Widow spider. Here's a real one. Here's a picture. Here's a real one. It's kind of a little bit, I want to say, like avant-garde for Matlock. Do you guys have any thoughts on that opening scene?
I didn't care for it.
Okay. Jason, you?
No, not really. Little artsy for Matlock, but
yeah, I mean, hey, at least it's not that one that I complain about. Like, they show the highway going into downtown Atlanta with no traffic whatsoever. I'm like, that never happens. Atlanta always has bumper to bumper traffic. All right, we go to the courtroom and we see that we are looking at Ken Wilson's trial number 1. And so the prosecutors up there are talking about tiny blood splatter, and that's the evidence. And Ben then takes over and says, listen, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, sure, there's a little bit of blood splatter, but there's no body, there's no fingerprints, and most importantly, there's no murder weapon. So you can't find my client guilty. And so then we see a nice little, like, a voiceover where we hear over top of a still of Ken, we find the defendant guilty, which means, gentlemen, Ben Matlock lost the case.
That's 2 in the series so far.
And note the picture of his wife. The picture of his wife, I noticed she had a dark hair color. That's going to be interesting for later on when we discover something. Go on ahead.
Yeah. So then we jump to 7 years later, and Ken is released from prison. Did he have to join a prison gang? I mean, I'm just curious. You know, he's a very bland white dude. I mean,
and can I just say, you know, for being, I mean, murder is like the biggest offense ever, correct? Like,
correct. Sure.
You know, 7 years. I mean, we know the deal here, but you know, they're only sending him to prison for 7 years for murder.
That might be because there was no body.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing too is, and I've heard this from other sources, is, hey man, he may have gotten 25, or 25 to life, but with parole and with overcrowding and everything. And if he behaves himself, it's whittled way down to 7. So I'm not too surprised by that. But I just, again, I just was like, I don't know if this dude would survive prison. Just being honest,
Yeah.
I think somebody would put a beating on him, and that might be the end of old Mr. Wilson.
Right.
All right, so Ken goes off looking for a gentleman named Norman, and he goes to a really crappy apartment building. And I kind of noted that I enjoyed the fact that the superintendent just opened the door, cigarette in hand, what do you want? Which just seemed, I don't know why I found that humorous. Yeah, but I found it humorous.
Yeah. And what I found humorous was her when she discussed the way that Mr. Wilson's brother-in-law had kicked the bucket, that he did so smoking, all the while she is standing there, cigarette in hand, puffing away.
Yeah. It was quite the irony there. And also, too, she's very quick when Ken goes, hey, I'll clean out his stuff out of the storage locker. She's real quick to go, hey, $50, it's all yours, man.
Yes.
All right, Jason, here we go. As you pointed out, you felt this is the best episode that we have had with Don Knotts. We get our first dose of Ace. And Ace is in love with a wonderful young lady. He shares the news with Ben. Bernice is his dame. What do you think, Jason?
I think that there's a missed opportunity to do a sitcom with him and Tyler where they just hit up the clubs together. Because I would love to see that. I mean, come on, guys. Who wouldn't want to see Tyler Hudson and Ace Calhoun hitting the scene, being each other's wingmans? You got the Wiz and you got Ace. Like, let's put them together and see what we get.
Oh my gosh, you know what that's putting in my mind? That's putting in my mind visions of like a saxophone synthesizer laden 80s theme song a la Perfect Strangers, where and the show would actually be called Hitting the Scene, and it would be in that neon cursive 80s typeface. It would air right after like what was a program on at that time? Oh my god, it would probably be a TGIF show. It probably would be.
Put it against Family Ties. Fantastic. Let's go. I mean, it's too late now. Missed opportunities. I've seen the spinoffs that people had in the 80s. This would have been way better than all of them. I guarantee.
Yes. Hands down, it would beat Joni Loves Chachi.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a huge Happy Days fan. I couldn't get past the first episode of that.
Wow. Aftermash.
Thought it was off.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Aftermash.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I'm just actually discovering that show, by the way, the original MASH via MeTV. It only took me 27 years.
Me too, man. Just about a year ago, I got really into MASH. It's a good show. Very good mix of drama and comedy in that show.
Beautiful program.
Well, Ace talks about the fact that Bernice is 48 years old. And
speaking of good mixing of drama and comedy, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. And he tells Ben that she does the crossword puzzle in ink. So that's what a wild card she is, man. That's how wild this dame is. She does it in ink. So, but Ace wants some advice to get her a birthday gift. I thought that he was moving a little too fast because it just seemed like he just met her and now he's buying her a birthday gift. I'm like, I think, Ace, you're moving a little bit too quickly on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
He's an older gentleman, He doesn't know how much time he has.
True. What do you think the age limit or age span is there? She's 48. I mean, Ace has got to be what?
Late
70?
Yeah.
So that's
probably being generous with that figure, but yes.
Anyways, all right. So Ken shows up at Ben's. It interrupts this conversation between Ace and Ben. And he says he has new evidence because he found canceled checks in Norman's stuff, and they were endorsed by a person named Kelly Manning. And I love the fact that everybody thinks Kelly Manning is a man. I'll just throw it out there. In my upbringing, as I heard that, I was like, every Kelly I knew was a girl. So I would automatically, if you said, "Hey, Kelly," I would have been like, "Oh yeah, that's a girl." Like, I don't know.
Well, Kelly, speaking for my Irish brethren, Kelly, from what I believe, is an Irish name for a man.
Okay.
Like, hello, Kelly, how you doing? Like, I actually, there's a podcast that I listen to, Mystery Titans Theater, which is a wrestling podcast where they essentially talk over old wrestling footage, and one of the hosts on that program is a fellow by the name of Kelly Robinson. So definitely, Kelly is it can be a male's name, but it's very rare. So
yeah. So Ace suggests that Ben helps Ken, and so they talk about, different facts that he has found out. And so off to California goes Ken. And as Jason,
what I thought we were going to get in this episode, and it might have set in a little bit later than this moment, but I thought we were going to get an investigation to find out where his wife was. I had no idea we were going to get, what we got later on. I thought, wow, Mattalk's going for something different. This
really?
guy's
Okay.
investigating, trying to find his wife. I was I was sold on that premise.
Well, and then you got the swerve, if you will, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right.
He went to Russia and fought a bunch of people.
No, that's the other Black Widow.
Sorry.
Well, we go to the to this office, all right, which I don't know. I felt that the office kind of looked like all the other offices they've used in Mattalk so far. I kind of was like, this is clearly the same set. They just kind of freshened it up a little bit here and there. But Kelly is leaving the office, and just as Ken shows up and the secretary calls back, and Kelly looks a little bit disheveled to hear that Ken Wilson's there. And she comes out. Ken is shocked, and he calls her Anne because he thinks that it's actually his former wife. And so Ken explains why he's there, the mystery of, hey, Norman was getting money from you guys, et cetera, et cetera. And Ken believes that Kelly is Anne. And so since you mentioned it, Jason, you were kind of totally caught off guard by this. Gina, what were your reactions to this?
Well, like Jason, the way that I thought that the plot would have gone is that they would have fallen back in love together, or found some way to be together again. But I did not expect her to be to have a hand in an insurance scheme, of all things. So,
did we find out why she did it?
No. That is the one thing that I was like, okay, this seems like an awful lot of trouble to just get out of a marriage. Like there had to be some other motivations there, and I didn't think, like, from the way I kind of deciphered it, and maybe I'm wrong, it kind of just seemed that Norman was sending these checks, but there was no, it wasn't like big money, was it? Or did I overlook something?
6 figures, wasn't it? Each check
was it 6 figures?
It sounded like each check was $100,000.
Okay.
I thought they said that. I might be mistaken.
Okay. Gino, do you know? Do you remember if they had
not
said
that I can recall?
Okay. All right. Well, Bob and Steve are baffled by this situation, which I thought was interesting, and we'll talk about Bob and Steve in a minute here. But then, if you can't get any creepier, Ken decides to follow Kelly when she leaves work. And as Kelly arrives, the nosy neighbor next door wishes Kelly well, and she just kind of storms off into the house. And so Ken just decides to, again, not that this is creepy at all, sit outside Kelly's house, and then later he breaks into her house and he finds a wedding gift that he gave to his wife Anne, which was this very special necklace. Thoughts on breaking and entering?
Well, maybe he thought he was doing it to solve the case, but in any case, it certainly doesn't help him whatsoever, considering that he just got out of prison.
Yes, and I've got a rant that's coming up very, very, very soon. But
okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I agree. He shouldn't have been doing that, because breaking and entering,
maybe he just missed his prison buddies,
Yeah, maybe he did.
Maybe. Who knows?
Because once you get in, you never truly get out.
That's right. His buddy Steve was waiting for him on the inside.
All right. What are you in for, Steve? Molesting a dead horse. Anyways,
Jeez.
you remember that from
Thoughts of
Fletch?
John Orlando, those of John Orlando.
Wait a minute, time out. That's a line from Fletch when he gets thrown in jail, and there's the one dude with all the
Fletch.
tattoos. You've never seen Fletch?
That's a Chevy Chase film, right?
Yeah.
I need to fix that. They just made a new one with John Hamm. I wonder how it is.
I saw that, and I was like, ugh.
You saw it. I haven't seen a preview or anything. I just saw it in the movie listings when I was looking for tickets for the new Harry Styles movie that I take my daughter to on Sunday.
You know how I saw it? I saw it on Instagram. It was an ad on Instagram. I'm like, what? So I didn't know that. By the way, I've never seen the second Fletch because I think there's Fletch and I think there's Fletch Lives.
Fletch Lives. Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen Lives. I don't think I've only seen the original. Anywho,
the only sequel film that I've ever seen with the word "lives" in has been King Kong Lives. But yeah.
How was that compared to the original?
I like it. Linda Hamilton's in it. It's good. They give Kong an artificial heart. It's good.
Okay, I've never watched it, so
I've honestly not seen a King Kong movie I haven't liked. I could have done with without an hour of the Peter Jackson movie. Like if we had cut out the whole beginning, it would have been fantastic. But we have a 45-minute boat ride for no reason.
We have Jack Black in that film for no reason other than he was popular at the time.
Yeah, true.
That movie made me dislike Jack Black for a long time. It wasn't until Tropic Thunder that I started to come back on the Jack Black train because of his character in King Kong. I thought he was so obnoxious.
Hey, it's Jack Black. What do you expect?
I guess.
All right, so Ken shows up at this very late meeting and accuses Kelly of being Anne, and he shows the necklace, and then Ken gets thrown out of the office by Bob and Steve, who are still concerned by this. And then I like how they threw him out this one door, and then what does Kelly do? She gets her briefcase and goes out the same door. It's like there's not a back door to this office that you could go. You're leaving just a few seconds after the guy who just threatened you, so to speak, has just left and been thrown out that door. That seemed like not the brightest idea. Nonetheless, we go back to Kelly's house, and she's getting herself, of course, all ready for bed. And all of a sudden, what do you know? She's killed. She's stabbed, all right? And the nosy neighbor, finds Kelly dead on the floor. Jason, is it rant time for you?
No, because we haven't gotten to the judge yet. There's a whole movie called Double Jeopardy where this is literally the plot. And if he kills the wife he was already convicted for, he doesn't get any more time because he was already convicted for it. This guy's already been convicted for killing his wife. Technically, if they'd be free, right? It should be a pass, essentially, whether it's right or wrong. He's already been convicted of it. Why would he have to serve it again?
Oh, because and here's the reasoning that they give in the episode. Oh, he was charged for this crime, not for this crime.
Yeah, they kind of make it out like Kelly Manning is totally different. Like they totally overlook the fact that she could be the same woman, and they're just like, "Oh no, he murdered Kelly. He didn't murder Anne." Which my whole problem I have.
This woman, see the woman in the photo, she had dark hair. Kelly, she's a blonde. Has to be different people, right, guys?
Well, see, and my problem I had with the judge, Jason, was this. Like, this seems like the idea of my client is in double jeopardy should be in another court. Like, I think that should be like a higher, and maybe I'm wrong with my knowledge of the judicial branch, but to me, that seems like that should be in a superior court or like a Supreme Court, a state Supreme Court, something, not just in your everyday, common pleas court or whatever.
At least demand a hearing, not, all right, you beat me in your wordplay. Ha ha ha.
See, they could have easily shot like one short little scene where like Mattalk's like, he comes into the room and he throws down a file and he's like, we got rejected, the double jeopardy argument, so you got to be on trial, Ken. Like, yeah, it just seemed like it was just quickly just throw it all together. All right, well, Ben and Ace are playing cards, and Ace is upset because he's heard that another dude is chasing Bernice. Those are fighting words, man. But Ken ends up calling Ben, and Ben has to go and shuffle off to California. Ben, as we started talking here, as we jumped ahead a little bit, Ben is claiming that there's the double jeopardy. They argue with the prosecutor. The judge rules that there's no double jeopardy. And so that we kind of already wrapped up with our discussion about the double jeopardy and whether it's plausible or not. But let's move on to Ben meeting Bob and Steve. Kelly brought $400,000 into the company, and within, a day or two, she was a full-fledged partner. I must say this. The character Steve Davidson is the absolute perfect slime ball.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I also found it very, very funny, like they the whole cigar thing. I thought that made me chuckle. Because I'm like, just what was it?
The only smoke I like is in a fireplace.
Yeah. The only smoke I like is in the fireplace or under a pork shoulder. I thought that was pretty witty. I like that. I thought that was good. So then we go out to Sun Springs. So this is the real estate, I guess you could say, scam, because that's basically what it is. And to me, I'm like, you're driving out in the middle of the desert and you see just these couple model homes. Who falls for this scam?
People who are easily guided, I would assume.
I guess. And this did remind me, by the way, this whole part with the crooked real estate of a movie that's a favorite of mine. And I'll recommend it to anybody listening. If you haven't watched Glengarry Glen Ross from 1990. Oh, yeah. Gino, you're aware, right?
I know of the film. I haven't seen it myself, but I do know of the film.
It's about a bunch of dudes that are doing some crooked real estate deals, and man, oh man, you got Powerhouse, Jack Lemmon, you got Ed Harris, you got Al Pacino, Alan Arkin. I mean, even I know he's not very popular because of his actions, but Kevin Spacey's in it, Alec Baldwin. It's just off the charts.
Man,
awesome.
Not popular for his actions.
Well, true, yeah, right, yeah, I forgot about him. So. Definitely seek it out if you want a great drama. I highly recommend it. Tyler Hudson shows up.
Tyler Hudson, and he's looking smooth and dapper as he always does. And he chats with a young lady named Terry Young, and he's getting some information. He's getting some info from her. And I did question, why did you give her your business card that said you're a private investigator before I would have left and been like, oh, yeah, here you go, and then left. Instead, he hands it to her, and then she gets mad and throws him out. Yeah, she really shoves him really good there, too, out the door.
Yeah. That's okay. Tyler would have the last laugh because he found something on her windshield, and so he takes it. Jason, what do you think about Tyler's first appearance on this episode?
Tyler Hudson, man. I really wish for season 3 we'd fall back on these, or get more of Tyler Hudson and less of the cameo things that we got back in season 2. But, it's always good to see Tyler.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his time is just about up in the series, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He's through season 4, right?
If I think that it's the beginning of season 4 that he is gone. And I think if memory serves me correct, there is going to be an episode where they phase him out and they really introduce Clarence Gilliard's character.
Conrad
McMaster. They just barely he's got not a lot of screen time, but it's in the same episode where Tyler's going to be phased out and they bring him aboard.
Right. As I do recall, there are 2 more appearances of him in season 4, I believe.
Yeah, because Clarence's character, Conrad McMasters, is a cop, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. He's a cop in a small town that I believe was a 2-parter, actually, if I remember correctly. That Mattalk has to go and defend somebody in the small town, and that's where we get the introduction to Conrad. All right, well, the nosy neighbor and Ben decide to take a look at Kelly's home, and the neighbor keeps describing this beep. Like, she keeps hearing this beep when she was over there. She found Kelly's dead body. And so that's going to be a key clue. But Ben also finds another key clue. He finds a matchstick, one of those kind of safety ones that's a little bit longer. And so that automatically leads him to suspect that it might be Steve Davidson because he smokes those cigars. So Terry and Steve are arguing when Ben shows up and he interrupts. And they get into a conversation about travel time. All right. Ben talks about and how long it took him to get from point A to point B. And it's all a giant ruse just to see who has a digital watch on their wrist, which is some shrewd detective work. You got to give it to Ben on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then what does Ben do? He just snoops around. And I found it weird. Like nobody, like they just let him go. Like there wasn't like Terry goes, hey, you should probably go keep an eye on him because there was a private investigator out here. They're all very nonchalant about it. We're like, whatever, you know.
Well, then again, if I recall correctly, he was introduced as, hey, this is Ben Mattalk, the lawyer for Ken Wilson. I don't think he was introduced to, yeah.
Yeah. So you would think you wouldn't let a lawyer, especially someone that's representing, Ken Wilson, just roam around your property scot-free.
No, he wouldn't.
So we go back to the courtroom, and Terry is on the stand, and Terry claims that she was working with Steve Davidson the night of the murder. But Ben says, are you sure? Yes, absolutely. And lo and behold, we find out that what Tyler took from the windshield of her car is a parking stub that just absolutely annihilates Terry's alibi. She is at a concert at the Hollywood Bowl with a man that she dates, and she is not with Steve Davidson. In fact, she reveals that Steve Davidson asked her to provide an alibi for him.
My question is, why would you leave that ticket stub in your car window overnight and drive around with it?
You know what? That's a great question because true story, Gino, I hate, there's been a few times where I've gone somewhere and I've put that parking ticket up on my dash. And when I drive, I hate it because I'm distracted by it. Because I can see the reflection. And so I'm always like, no, get that thing out of here. Throw it away. I don't want it in my glove or in my, not my glove box, but I don't want it on my dashboard. So we go with Steve Davidson on the stand. And Steve admits that he did indeed threaten Terry with firing her if she doesn't provide him with an alibi. And so Steve claims that he rolled out to Sun Springs to get some stuff because he left some paperwork out there. And then Ben asked him about the matchstick to, light cigars. And then lo and behold, Ben also has a receipt from a gas station for a credit card that belongs to Steve. And it was a gas station that was very close to Kelly's home. Jason, your thoughts on this amazing amount of evidence? Did it help skew you one way or the other as to who you thought the killer was?
No.
At this point, had you determined? Because oftentimes you share on this show that you halfway through have an idea who it might be. No such luck?
I did not, no.
Okay. Moving on here, Steve admits to being at Kelly's home. He says that while they were talking, she got a phone call and told him, you got to leave. And so he did. So now we go to the next piece of evidence. Tyler and Ben and the neighbor in the house, in Kelly's house, try to find the beep, which they can't. They cannot find the beep. And now for maybe the best scene so far in this show, because I love a giddy Ben. I do love it when he gets all giddy and frustrated and somewhat embarrassed.
And there's nothing like a good fish out of water scene.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Gino and Jason, where does Ben Mattalk decide to spend an afternoon? Well, in a lingerie store.
Yes.
As much as I love it, I did write down the note, why is this even in this episode?
Because it's funny.
And because he's buying a gift for Les's girl.
Yes, he is. But there's a lot of... I kind of did say this did not age very well, but there's kind of confusion from the sales clerk as to who this is for. As if, Ben is buying it for a man or for a woman, which I thought, well, that's classic 80s TV, but, I don't know how that would fly today in 2022. And Ben kind of stammers, and he's taken aback when the customer comes out in her new, lingerie and asks the sales clerk, how does this look on me? And I enjoyed this. I enjoyed all of this. And that's where a beep is heard that Ben thinks, oh, wait a minute. I think that might be the beep that we're looking for. I'm going to be honest. I didn't quite understand, even at this point, what the beep was all about.
Me neither.
How about you guys? Okay, you agree, Jason? Gino, how about you?
I didn't know where this was going either.
Well, it goes back to the courtroom where Bob is on the stand and Ben reveals that there's no irrigation system for Sun Springs. None. He saw the pump out there. He knows that water's got to be trucked in. There's no natural aqueduct. There's nothing there. So clearly Ben calls Bob out on the scam of, you just want to get people out there, take the money and run. And what do you know? Even though there are 3 partners, which would equal 33%, somehow Kelly Manning had 50% of the company. Could it be that because she's a pretty lady?
Well, as you did say before, Davidson is kind of, that classic, sniveling slimeball character. So obviously he probably gave it to her.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. As a way to maybe, schmooze in on her later. So the motive to kill Kelly is to keep the scam quiet, all right? And, hey, since Ken showed up and he already has this murder rap, let's just pin it on him. That's Mattalk's theory. So Bob claims that he's at home, and Ben stated, well, wait a minute. According to your beeper that you have, which they beeped thanks to Tyler, at 10:42, a call was placed from a car phone. Again, in parentheses, I put that phone call was probably $13 because it's 1989. It's a cell phone. So Bob called Kelly's place from the car phone. The beep goes off. The neighbor identifies the beep as Bob's pager. And I kind of like how during this whole a bunch of questioning, and Jason, you and I have talked about this before. I like how Ben just is so enamored with technology. You mean they can call you, you can get a beep, then you call back to the answering service. They tell you who called. It's magic to him. It's just magic.
Well, for me, it's kind of akin to, because I'm a fan of mysteries and mystery films, and though they might not be popular in this day and age, I am quite a big fan of the Charlie Chan series of mysteries. And in a lot of those films, especially those produced by 20th Century Fox, they were always enamored by technology and newer technologies. And the Chan character was always amazed at this newer technology that helped him solve the crime. So perhaps this was Andy Griffith's homage to that.
Oh, you know what? That's great analysis. I never thought about that. And actually, I'll be honest, I've heard of those Chan movies. I've never seen one. Probably a good guess or good theory, if you will. Jason, what were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Well, okay. At 11 p.m., Bob basically makes a call via the car phone. All right. And again, just the timetable at 10:42, the phone call at 11 p.m. She is supposedly murdered right around 11 p.m. He is in the area. And as I wrote down, I don't think that it's enough to convict Bob, but it's enough doubt in the minds that Ken does get released. I felt like this whole thing with the car phone, though, was a very convoluted, or was I the only one that felt that way?
Yeah, it felt kind of rushed towards the end.
It did a little bit. I just can't believe he spent $1,200 on a phone call just to murder somebody. Those car phones in the 80s were not cheap.
No, they were not. Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. I felt that the ending was a little bit. We're not all the way done yet. There's one more scene, but this part was very kind of convoluted and very I had to watch it twice. I was like, I don't even understand what went on. And after the second viewing, I'm maybe 25% more certain I know what the heck was going on.
Episode felt like a 2-parter. I had to keep checking to make sure there wasn't a second part, and then the ending, like you said, just came.
Yeah, it was awkward as all get out. Let's talk about this last scene.
Sorry.
Ben shows up at Bernice's birthday party, and it's at Ray Templeton's bar. And so Ben bought this negligee for Ace to give to Bernice. Here's my question. At this point, it still seems that Bernice and Ace are relatively new to this relationship Isn't it a little inappropriate to be buying lingerie this soon into the relationship?
Well, Don Knotts' character, Les Calhoun, Ace, certainly thinks so. As he turns around and gives Ben one of those classic Don Knotts pierced lips faces. But it's all well and good because then she winds up throwing her arms around Ace and gives him a nice big kiss-a-rooney there. And I guess all is okay with that.
John,
again, it's television.
It's not too soon, John. I go to Victoria's Secret anytime I go on a first date, and when I walk up to the lady as the first time I meet her, I say, "I bought this for you."
Yeah, I bought you this matching panty and thong set. Yeah. I know we just met, but hey,
I'm working on perfecting it. She always leaves, but one of these days she'll stay. I mean, Ace knows who he's dating.
I mean, she's a wild woman. She does the crossword puzzle in ink, yo. I mean,
to be fair, he practically moved in with Mattalk on the first day that he.
That's That's true. He practically moved into Ben's house the first time we met him. You're right, pretty much.
Birds of a feather flock together.
All right. Any other quick notes or anything else, Gino or Jason, you want to mention before we move into our closing statements?
Nope.
Okay, Jason?
No, sir.
All right, then let's get on into our closing statement.
This is the part of the podcast where John, Jason, and Gino give our thoughts on a scale system. 1 gavel meaning that we didn't like it. 5 gavels meaning it's the greatest thing to ever hit television. And John, what are your thoughts and gavel rating?
Okay, first of all, fans, I just want you to know that he hijacks this now almost every single episode. And I give you props. You've been banging them out, but this one, little weak on this one, Jason. I'm sorry. If I got to be honest, man.
Whatever, John.
Okay. You know what? We should you know what? I'll go first, and then we'll let Gino go. All right, Jason. I think you should be the last one. Okay. On a scale of 5 gavels, I gave it a 3 gavels. The positives for me, I thought Chris Tambori did a fantastic job of being a scumbucket like that. He was so swarthy and slimy and gross and disgusting, and just he was the epitome of a great villain. So mad props to Mr. Tambori for his portrayal. I liked that Tyler had plenty of screen time because I'm a big fan of the character, so I liked him. I got the chuckles out of the buying of the lingerie. I thought that was even though I wrote down why is this in the episode, it still made me laugh, and so I'll give it a plus. The negatives, I felt like we missed something without having Michelle Thomas in the episode. Mm-hmm. I think there could have been something in the episode that she could have helped out with. I felt like, and I'm sure the writers wanted to give more screen time to Tyler, but I felt like this episode could have been slightly better with her in there. And also, too, I think the other negative is the motive was very good. Like, I understand the motive. You kill somebody for their percentage of the business and to keep the scam quiet. But the explanation was super cloudy, and I didn't quite get it. So there you go. Those are my positives and negatives. 3 gavels, right down the middle of the road.
I'm going to agree with your assessment. I also give this 3 gavels. I think it's just an average episode of Mattalk. It's something that you'd watch on a Saturday. It's not, something epic that you're gonna, like keep your eyes focused in on. It's not. We're not watching the Don here. We're watching just a basic run of the mill episode of Mattalk. For some reason, it moves at a really good pace. I was watching it because I taped it off of MeTV, and I don't know if they're cutting things out here and there in the episode, but for me, it went by at a good clip. It was over and done with, in an hour, and it didn't feel like too belabored or padded at all. So it moves along at a good pace. I like that Les Calhoun is in this episode because it gives me an excuse to talk about Don Knotts. I do like the scene of Ben in the lingerie shop. I think that's the highlight of the episode, the unintentional highlight of the episode. It's amazing how he didn't have like more suspects, more people. Like it was only like maybe 2 or 3 people. It was a really small, compact list rogues gallery this time. Again, just a very average episode of Matlock. I had fun watching on a Friday afternoon.
Jason, how about you?
I watched on Pluto TV. If you guys are listening, please at Pluto TV and let them know that we mentioned them on this show. I'd love to have a Pluto TV sponsorship. That'd be amazing. But I streamed it on Pluto TV, and it was, first of all, John, middle of the road would be 2.5. Secondly, I agree with you guys. 3 out of 5 is my scale for this. I want to know how they picked double episodes, because I feel like this should have been a double episode. The first episode being, him getting out of jail. We get more into the story of why she left him, and then the murder ends the first half. And then the second half, we get that. Because I just felt like a whole episode of Matlock was fit into 20 minutes. The murder to the trial, and then pre that, we had 20 minutes of setup to the murder. I just feel like this would have been perfect. Like, there's a few movies of Matlock that are like, oh, you guys should have done that in 1 episode, and it would have been great. This should have been done in 2. I think if it had been done in 2, it would have been a 4.5 out of 5. I agree about Michelle Thomas because I prefer, at this point, her and Ben's chemistry over her Ben and Tyler's chemistry, because we're not getting a lot of Tyler Hudson in a lot of these episodes anymore, which is a shame. But I did miss Michelle being there in this episode, and there's just a lot of questions about, why certain things happened. And I just, I wish we could have gotten. But yeah, 3 out of 5. It went by fairly quickly, and I didn't hate watching it. I had a good time.
And you know what?
You're actually right about Michelle. I mean, you could have easily swapped her for Tyler, I think, in this episode.
Or if you made it a 2-parter, she would have been perfect to be in there to investigate why
Kelly talk with the neighbor while Tyler checked out the real estate scheme.
Right, or she talks to Anne, and like she's trying to figure out why Anne left, and she talks to Kelly Manning, and that would have explained that, because I feel like, again, that was kind of a negative towards the show, is that we never found out, like, why did she leave, like, and more importantly, how did she fake her own death? Like, that's a great, that was totally left out. So I again had fun watching it. Standard, normal episode of Matlock. Which is not a bad thing, but there could have been some better resolution of some of these issues that were brought up in the episode.
And I agree with what they both said. I love it whenever a risque thing is on Matlock, from the stripper to the gigolo to now. Like, I love it when Andy Griffith puts himself in those situations. It's fantastic.
Yes. All right, Gina, let's talk a little bit about you, if you will. I know you talked a little bit about your YouTube show there, but let's talk about your fandom. How did you become a fan of Matlock?
Yeah, because you're young like we are, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 27 years old.
You are the youngest of the 3 of us on here. But go ahead. How did you discover Matlock? Was it something that you watched as a kid?
Well, actually, it was actually by an extension of my already bubbling fandom for Andy Griffith. I was just flipping through channels, and I circled in on the Hallmark channel, which I believe still runs the Matlock television program. I'm trying to remember which was my first episode, the first episode I ever watched of Matlock. It was either the 2-parter, The Court Martial, or it was the DJ episode with, the whole sawed-off shotgun. There'd be a lot less crime. That episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it was either one of those episodes. And for the life of me, there's this little Matlock mystery that I've always wanted to, because I've never seen video footage of it anywhere except for once on Hallmark, and it's sort of like this Mandela effect. There was a syndicated, if I'm remembering correctly, Hallmark used to air this syndicated version of Diary of a Perfect Murder, which did not have the full Diary of a Perfect Murder opening intro, but it also had an intro by Andy Griffith saying, in Mattalk's character, saying that, talking about this film's pilot for the Mattalk television show, and he's in character as Ben Mattalk in his office talking about this. And I've never seen video footage of this intro anywhere, or this particular version of the episode. So if anybody could clear that up for me, I'd greatly appreciate that, because I clearly remember that clear as day, and it just seems that I've never seen that anywhere else. Like when MeTV ran it a few months back, because I used to tape these every day on MeTV. I don't anymore because I ran out of tapes. Yes, I still use VHS tape, ladies and gentlemen, in which John and Jason were quite enamored by. When they ran it, they actually ran the entire Diary of a Perfect Murder intro with the whole TV screen sequence and before they go into the theme song. So I have never seen this other syndicated version of Diary of a Perfect Murder since, and I'm wondering if anybody else has seen that.
I've read about that, so I know it exists. I know that there is a different version. There's a syndicated version. I've never seen it. I didn't even know if there's video of it, but I do remember reading while doing research. In fact, I'll be honest, I think we were doing research for Lori Lafine. I was doing research on her when she was a guest, and I had read that there was a different version for it. So, but yeah, if anybody knows like where it's at, if it's on YouTube or somewhere, drop us a line, let us know. Which, Jason, we haven't done this yet. Where can folks get in touch with us?
You guys can email me that clip at benmattalk@gmail.com. Say hi. Let us know if you want to be the next guest on Mattalk. We love the whole reason we do this show is to meet new people. It's the whole reason I started podcasting in general. And we'd love to hear from you. I love the Mattalk community and those groups. John and I are very sorry that we're not as active in those chats as we should be. But if you saw last week's live chat, then you know that we're working on it. So, email us, benmattalk@gmail.com.
Or you can touch base with us on Twitter and Facebook too. Sorry, Gino. Facebook, of course, is at Mattalk Podcast, and Twitter is at Mattalk_podcast.
And hopefully the guests succeeding myself will be a lot better.
Oh, no, Gino, you've done a great job. Yeah, we've loved having you on, man.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right, well, gentlemen, we are getting up there time-wise here, so why don't we go ahead and start wrapping some things up. Gino, is there anything that you'd like to plug? You know, do you have any social media or any projects that are coming up, or the YouTube channel or whatnot that you would like to talk about real quick?
Yes, you may follow me on Twitter at official Gino C. That is GENO. C. And you can also follow me on Facebook at official Gino Cuddy. That is GENOCUDDY. Hopefully I'll be back doing my television program, Gino in the Evening. Hopefully it'll come back. Hopefully the studio reopens and production will be back in, hopefully we'll be back in production soon. There's another YouTube channel that I have, which is called Gino's House of Rare Films, where I've been working for the past 3 or so years with a fellow by the name of Ralph Salentano, who has been a film collector for the past 60 plus years. And I have been slowly but surely helping preserve his film collection for future generations to view online. And we have preserved a lot of rarities, including a couple of rare Fox, Clark, and McCullough shorts from 1929. I've also worked with a friend of his, Mr. Raymond Cabana, and I preserved a lost crime talkie from 1929 that hasn't been seen in over 90 years. And I also preserved the first country music video, which was The Singing Brakeman by Jimmy Rogers. And there's just a whole lot of goodness to see on Gino's House of Rare Films, which is a labor of love, and I've been happy to do it for the past 3 years, and it's come recommended by silent film historians Ben Medell and Steve Massa. If you don't want to go on my advert, go on theirs.
Okay, there you go. Jason, anything you want to plug real quick with the Three Geeks podcast?
Yeah, simple, easy. Follow me personally at 3GeeksJ, Jay, or at 3 Geeks Podcast.
All right, and for my personal podcasting project, the PVD Cast episode. Why do you do that to me every single time? You know I'm the king of the plug. Why do you got to do this?
Sorry.
You love it. Don't act like you don't. You look forward to this part. Anyways, pvdcast.com is where you can get episodes of the PVD Cast. They're also available through all those major podcasting outlets. And with that, gentlemen, Gino, thank you again for number 1, being a fan. Number 2, supporting this podcast. We appreciate it. Number 3, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, and reaching out, man. It's been great getting to know you.
It's been great getting to know both of you as well. Thank you for the opportunity to come on and discuss Mattalk and Andy Griffith. This has been my first time I've ever been able to discuss publicly my love of Andy Griffith, so I want to give a big tip of the cowboy hat to both of you. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that, see, I am an Imus fan. Jason is a Stern fan. We can peacefully coexist. Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in court, nothing further. The following has been a joint production between the Three Geeks podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC, copyright 2022.